He was the kind of man who rarely noticed the pain of others. His life was a blur of luxury, power, and deadlines. That morning, he walked briskly along the busy city sidewalk, wrapped in a designer coat, his attention fixed on his sleek watch. His mind raced through boardroom deals, stock prices, and back-to-back meetings. To him, the world was just transactions and targets. People were background noise. But something shifted that day. On a cold, unforgiving street corner, he saw her, a little girl, no older than his own daughter. She sat curled up on the pavement, knees to her chest, trying to block out the freezing wind. Her coat was torn, her face flushed with the sting of winter. For a split second, their eyes met, and in that brief, wordless glance, something inside him paused. He saw more than poverty. He saw vulnerability, fear, and something achingly familiar, the silent plea of a child who just wanted to be noticed. His instinct was to pull out his wallet. A few bills would ease his conscience. It was what he always did, fix things with money. Quick, clean, detached. But as he reached for his wallet, something didn't feel right. This didn't feel like a moment money could fix. She reminded him too much of his daughter, who, just the night before, had reached for him during bedtime, whispering she missed him. He barely heard her, too absorbed in his phone screen. The discomfort in his chest wasn't from the cold, it was something deeper. A quiet reckoning. As he stepped closer, expecting the girl to ask for spare change, she did something that stunned him. She shook her head gently, her eyes moist with tears, and whispered with a hoarse, fragile voice, "Sir, I don't want money. I just need a hug. Like your daughter gets." He froze. The street sounds, honking cars, rushed footsteps, fragments of passing conversation faded into a muffled silence. Her words hit harder than anything he'd heard in years. She didn't want coins or pity. She just wanted to be held, to feel safe, to matter. He stood paralyzed, emotions swirling, uncertainty, shame, confusion. He looked around. Strangers walked by, indifferent. He hesitated. He wasn't someone who embraced strangers, especially not in public, especially not a homeless child. His mind shouted a dozen reasons not to. It wasn't proper. It wasn't safe. What would people think? But then he remembered last night. His daughter's little arms wrapping around his neck. Her soft voice. Her trust. He brushed her off, distracted and distant. The memory stung. Tears welled in his eyes. Not because of the cold, but because of the realization that he'd become so detached from real moments, from real feelings. Taking a shaky breath, he knelt slowly in front of the girl. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Gently, he reached out and wrapped his arms around her small frame. She stiffened at first, and used to affection. But then she melted into the embrace, clutching the back of his coat, burying her face in his chest. Her sobs came softly at first, then steadied into quiet breaths. The frostbite in her spirit seemed to melt a little in the warmth of his arms. He didn't want to let go. And for the first time in what felt like forever, neither did she. Around them, something changed. Passers-by stopped. A woman placed a warm blanket beside the girl. Someone else brought a cup of hot cocoa. No one said a word. They just watched. Some cried quietly. Some simply paused. A moment of humanity had broken through the concrete silence of the city. That hug wasn't the end. It was the start. He didn't just walk away and forget. He made calls. Found her shelter. Got her food, clothes, medical care. Arranged for her to attend school. But even more important, he changed. He finally understood what he had missed in all his success. That money might offer comfort, but connection was what truly healed. That kindness was not weakness, it was strength. And love wasn't just something to receive, it was something to give, freely and fully. That night, as he tucked his daughter into bed, he lingered longer than usual. She looked up, surprised, as he pulled her into a tender hug. He kissed her forehead gently. And for once, he was fully present. Because sometimes, the greatest gift we can give isn't wealth, advice, or even words. It's the quiet message behind an embrace. You matter. You're not alone. You are loved.